everyone, it's Robin. Welcome to my desk. Thought I would do a follow-up on how my projects are going along and how my traveler's notebook setup for my new adventure slash hobby slash project is going along. So I think the last video I was telling you that I wanted to set up a traveler's notebook for my sewing hobby. And I did some notebook smushing and it's starting to get that teal color. So that's a double, triple thumbs up for me. It's no longer looking navy, it's looking teal and I love it. Love, love, love. So I did go ahead and I put a few business cards for some of the places that I got some fabrics from for my projects. I'm setting up this first notebook with kind of a project gallery. And I thought that maybe we could just kind of do that together a little bit. Oh, I think I was having kind of an issue with I have one of those Canon selfie printers and I love it. I love the quality of the things that get printed out. So I'm looking all over the place for the little things that I need. But printing I don't want a photo that's this big. I want smaller ones. And so it was a challenge for me when I think I first got it. I bought it pre-loved. And when I first bought it, I don't think the app was available. The selfie printing app was available. But now I found it and I figured out how to do it. But of course, I had a few mistakes along the way. I mentioned to you that I was making this Madewell popover shirt is what I'm using that Liberty London fabric for. And I decided that I wasn't going to cut that Liberty London fabric as my first try with the sewing machines and everything else going on. So I'm going to use this fabric instead, and I'm just going to paste some of these things together in this book. This book is going to get chunky. Please don't be judgmental about what I pay for things. Sometimes I will splurge on things that I really love, like the Liberty London fabric, and other times I get really great deals. So I figure it out. I figure it all kind of evens out in the long run. I don't know which kind of adhesive is going to be the best for this. I've run out of my permanent sticky things and I don't know. I love this stuff. Robin from Talks from the Heart mentioned this a while ago on her channel. It's like this double-sided tape, but I don't think I have the patience to try to peel off the back of that at this moment. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig down and find my glue dots and at least temporarily just kind of put these on the pages with glue dots. So this is the shirt that I'm making, and I'll have to copy this again onto my Liberty London page because it'll be the same shirt that I'm making twice. This is the shirt. I think I want to put this a little bit crooked, and I thought that I would print out or cut out this fabric is so cute. So cute. It's got little foxes and like little forest scenes on it. I think I'll just do this little chunk. So what I kind of was thinking that I would do is just kind of put together a project notebook of sorts. What to tape that down with? Do I think for a red hot minute that washi tape will work to hold that in place? I don't. But you know what? I'm going to try. Let's see what I have. Well, all right. Why not? I think I have fox washi tape in there someplace, but I'm not finding it. So I'll go with green deer because there is deer on the fabric also. Anyways, so I started cutting out my pattern pieces this week, and then everything got ground to a screeching halt. Oh, that's actually going to work really well. I should probably do that on that side too. I'll get back in here and rearrange that a little bit. So I started cutting out these pattern pieces, and I have all but, I think, 3 cut out, and I've got my scrap of fabric that I'm going to cut the remaining pieces out. I think I've got a cuff and here they are, these things. Well, I guess I have 4. But I got a table for my happy place back here, my crafting stationery area. And I got one of those adjustable height tables because I really thought, you know what, especially with this sewing, it'd be really nice to be able to stand up and cut patterns rather than have to be sitting down or leaning over a desk. And I bought one at Costco, and it was the most horrible design for a table. The table was beautiful. The quality was excellent. The stability of the table was phenomenal. Yada, yada, yada. But the controls for the table, if this is the rectangle for the table, the controls for the table were on the tabletop in the right-hand corner. I'm right-handed, and every time I would pass fabric over the control panel, even though I'd locked it in place, it would start readjusting. I'm like, this thing is going back. So back it went, and I ended up finding a different one on Amazon, and that one will be here tomorrow. And so I'll have that set up, and I can get back into my project hopefully tomorrow night. So anyway, so here's the project pages, and then I've got a couple of pages set aside after that. I think I'll do a couple pages for notes. I think I want to put in the back like project like up and coming. I just ordered a pattern. I do not have a jacket for fall that is anything of decent quality, and I got online, and my favorite retailer for clothing is J. Crew. I'm a J. Crew junkie, and it delighted me that of recent years, when my weight fluctuates, I can be all the way down to a size 6, and I can be all the way up to a size 18, which is pretty sad. That's like when I'm doing like mega weight loss things, right? But anyways, long story short, I'm really happy to see that they have larger sizes at J. Crew now. So, but the quality of the clothes is not what it used to be in days of old. So I want a trench coat, and I got online and looked at J. Crew, and oh my gosh, you guys, their trench coat, this trench coat is drop dead gorgeous, but it is like $200. And there's irony in this statement that I'm going to make, because probably by the time I get done buying fabric and notions and everything in the pattern to make a trench coat, we'll see what was more economical. But I also I love this. I actually would love to make 2. I'd love to have this bone or cream colored one, but I really want a black trench coat, and try to find a black trench coat, you guys. And I want lining in it, and this one doesn't have lining. So blah, blah, blah. This is on my sewing project list. I'd like to make this. I'm searching for a washi tape now. It doesn't matter, Robin. It doesn't matter. Okay, how about this one then? We'll just grab one that's close. Yeah. So I ordered this pattern, and I'll put the company's name and the pattern number below in the description, because there's no way I'm gonna remember. The pattern's coming from England, of course. It was reasonable compared to some of the patterns that I see, like with the prices at Joann Fabrics. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all, including shipping from overseas to me. So this will be an upcoming project. And again, the sad thing about this is that by the time I get to making this, I won't be able to wear it because it will be the middle of winter in Minnesota, and so it'll have to wait until spring to wear it. But So when this pattern comes and when I start this project, I think I'll move it up to the front. But this is kind of my inspiration, is this coat that I refuse to pay $200 for. And that's on sale. By the way, that $200 is a sale price. Maybe it's 170. I don't know. It's close to 200. I round up to 200 in my head. Or make this one, and this one, like I'm sorry that the background of this photo is so faded out, but it's very similar, and I'll end up just modifying the collar to be a little bit thinner, but everything else, I think, buttons on the sleeve, double-breasted. I will modify the length of this to be a shorter trench coat because I don't need the longer ones. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so anyways, that's kind of the project and pattern. And then I thought that as I'm making this, I would take some notes on things to remember or think about when I sew the shirt again, and then I'll put the next project in here. I have been taking some notes on how to like the correct order or an order to sew together a shirt. And I got almost through a really lovely video and I got tired and had to stop. But there's this is what I was hoping this graph page would come in handy, just for really crappy, scratchy notes to look back on, and maybe pull this out and discard at some time, or maybe shelve it. I don't know. I never really throw anything away. And then back in this one, this is my sewing machine space. So I've got my machines on here, and I'll have to add something on the cover because I have a lot of seams in this shirt that need to be finished edges, because the fabric is already, like, from cutting it frays on the edges, and if you don't finish the seams, it will eventually unravel, maybe someday in a million years. So I actually went and found on Facebook Marketplace a pre-loved serger. And this is my, oh, I don't think I ever showed you. These are my two vintage sewing machines. This is a Viking model 19E. It's got zigzag, and so it's lovely. I cleaned it up personally. There's only one thing wrong with it that I'm waiting for when I'm out and about in the area of a Menards or a Home Depot to pick up, to loosen up one of the bars in the machine. And then this one is a Model 8E, and I'm probably going to put this one up on Facebook Marketplace and allow somebody else to have it, because I don't think I need to. And I bet any money that the power of this one is equal to the power of this one. We were going to keep this one for sewing really heavy duty projects, but I think that this one will manage that too. So these are my two vintage Vikings, and I'm adding to my family a vintage 1978 is when they hit the market, a Juki serger. And I picked that up for a really great price locally. And that's what I mean by things kind of even out. For me, it's interesting when I get the urge to get moving and grooving with a project. If I start looking for the thing that I'm hunting for, I generally will find what I'm looking for on my first search for it on eBay, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, whatever the search platform is. And if I don't jump on the initial deal that I see, or the deal that I see, or when I find something, it's gone, and maybe I stop looking for it, so I don't think that it's ever available again. But I never find as nice or as inexpensive of a thing as my first try. So here's my new sewing machine. The lady that sold this to me lived on I had to drive about 30 minutes up to the northeast end of the metro. I'm in the mid-south part of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I had to drive all the way during rush hour, and it was kind of a red hot mess, but I took back roads and it was an enjoyable drive. And she lived on this little farm tucked away in between this big corporation off the freeway. And you pull into our driveway, which is kind of hidden, and it was just a glorious farm with this beautiful white ranch house, and a barn over here, and a barn over there, and another barn over there, workshopy kind of thing, and then acres of land back in the distance that went up to the freeway, which was at the back of their property. And she invited me in the house, and her husband came out. She was 70s, and her husband is maybe a little bit older. Her husband came tooling out with this machine. They set it up on the kitchen table, and she was just almost giggling, like, look how much fun this is. And she was just having a blast showing it to me. And then she said, would you like to see my horse? And I almost had a heart attack. Of course I want to see your horse. Oh my gosh. So she took me out to the barn and showed me her little mini pony, whose name was Minnie. And we hung out, and I fed him a few crab apples. And oh, she was just the sweetest lady I have ever met. So that whole experience to me was worth it, even more so than the sewing machine itself. Like that was a memorable thing for me. So yeah, so there are my sewing machines and all of the parts and things and extras and attachments, and I have to still get in here and chronicle after I do this. This will be it for machines, unless I take pictures of my old one that I have, that I have one already before I started on this adventure. But like I said, my husband invited me to entertain the idea, and that was all it took to go down the rabbit hole. So unless I add more photos, then I need to start logging, like, when I clean them, when I oil them, so that I can kind of keep a record of that and what kind of issues. So that's my little sewing journal in my traveler's notebook. I love this. I love this for this purpose. I'm kind of a list maker, I guess. So this long page format works really well for me for taking notes. I feel like if the page is any wider, like if it were A5 and the thing started looking more paragraphy, it would be harder for me to go back and read and digest the notes that I took. That's one of the reasons that I kind of gravitated towards this particular leather cover and system for this. So again, with the thinking and the choice making behind why I do what I do, I really have a vision of what I want. I know the type of writing that's going to go in it, and this long skinny format for a list maker and note taking is just like awesome for me. If I happen to be note taking in an A5 size, do I have anything A5 size around? I do. It's not anything that's going to be a great example, but if I were to do the notes that I'm doing in there on A5 size paper, I would likely end up drawing a line down the page and making a long skinny thing with maybe a checklist, or even dividing the page in half and making 2 columns of notes, because taking notes across this space is just too much for me. So something to consider when or if you ever find yourself thinking about a new project, a new adventure, and what you're going to use to be the home for that project and adventure. And this is a Indian corn picture that I found on the interweb, and I thought that was just beautiful. So this is just going to get trimmed a little bit more and go in my A6 as a hello fall kind of a thing. I'll put it on the October page probably. So that's what's going on. I've been to a few more job interviews. If you stuck around this long, now you get to hear just a blip of personal things. I've been offered one. I was runner-up for the one that I really, really wanted. I'm number 2. Yay. But I didn't get that job. I am definitely signed up to be a substitute teacher in a number of different school districts, but I really don't want to. I don't want to go back into the classroom. Not yet. I'm just not ready for that shenanigans, mentally still. Although there's an adult education program that's linked to one of the school districts that I went and met with the HR person and got my little ID card and everything all good to go. But they have an adult ed program and classes for students who are getting a GED. And I think that might be my jam, to go back if I'm going back to any kind of substitute teaching or classroom experience. Being in a room full of people who want to be there is probably a little more healthy for me than going back to high school or junior high. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those spaces, but subbing is not an easy job, and I just don't know that I have the I don't know if I have the mojo for it, honestly. My heart is just not in it at the moment. So, had another interview last week. I know I feel a little bit rambly, but I'm optimistic that I'll get offered that job. The pay is good. I'm not going to mention what it is or where it's at until I know more, and they said that they would let me know by Tuesday. So, fingers crossed. Yeah, that's enough. If you stuck around, thanks again. Consider liking and subscribing to see more of my adventures and how I'm working my way through. I will move things over to the sewing machine and maybe do some cutting of things. Maybe even a little show and tell how I ended up creating these pattern pieces from the shirt. I could certainly talk about that. So yeah, stop, Robin. Stop. All right. Be well, be safe, and take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.